Last month, I reported that the Canon EOS R5 II was freezing up, leaving photographers out in the cold, at least when shooting between temperatures of 4 and 7 degrees Celsius, about 36 to 44 degrees Fahrenheit. They reported getting the error, change or charge battery. This despite batteries being fully charged. Well, last week, I published a video of my extensive testing of the R5 II in conditions from 10 degrees Celsius down to minus 18 degrees, and I didn't have a single issue, at least until Saturday, when I had problems with my Canon EOS R5 Mark II shutting down. So, what happened? Well, that's what this video is all about. But first, I have a rather simple and humble request. Please subscribe to my channel. It doesn't cost you anything, helps this channel grow, and keeps you informed on the latest camera gear. It was a foggy Saturday morning with temperatures around 5 degrees Celsius or 40 degrees Fahrenheit. Upon seeing the conditions, I immediately grabbed my R5 II, the new 50mm f1.4, and I headed deep into the bush, where I grabbed these results. I loved the look, almost sci-fi in its simplicity, remnant of the movie blockbuster Interstellar. But then things went dark. The camera shut down. And due to confirmation bias, my mind immediately rushed to all those forums I had read. And from what sources had told me about the Canon EOS R5 Mark II in those videos, in comments telling me that, yeah, you know what, my camera shut down anywhere between 4 to 7 degrees, some said 8, and some said even 10 degrees Celsius. Being far from home, I decided to take the batteries out of the battery grip and put them in my gloves to help keep them warm. And it worked. I got about 10 minutes of footage before the problem reoccurred. And of course, again, I took the batteries out of the battery grip, put them in my gloves, and kind of blowed on them a little bit. It's a little trick we use up here in the north. Sometimes our gloves don't quite warm up, or shall I say it's our hands don't quite warm up, so we blow into the gloves to help them warm up quicker. And you know what? I got about another minute or 30 seconds, and the problem happened again. It seemed like I was getting diminishing returns. But on the third attempt, something strange happened. After putting the batteries back in the camera, I just kind of shook it a little bit. Not crazy shaking, the same kind of shaking you would get from just walking with the camera. And, well, I got a different result. For anyone growing up in the 70s and 80s, you'll probably recall your father or mother or sibling smacking the side of a TV or a radio or other electronics to get them working. And for the large part, it did work. And it's time for a bit of a public service announcement here. Don't go around smacking your electronics if they're not working properly, unless of course it's from the 1970s or 1980s. I don't know what it is about the electronics back then, but you know, if your TV all of a sudden sort of went on the blitz, couldn't pull in a channel, just smack it on the side and miraculously it would come back to life. We also held onto antennas or stood in a certain way because we were relying off signals instead of using cable. But I'll save that story for another day. Let's get back to the R5 Mark II. By shaking it just a little bit, what I noticed is it came to life, albeit just for a moment. And then I recalled what one of my sources had told me, one of the ones who had sent their camera in for repair. Canon support said that when troubleshooting your camera, we can see internal error codes for communication failures between the main PCB and the battery for the exact dates that you were describing this problem. Immediately, I had an epiphany. What if my battery grip had come loose? Now, it didn't look like it had come loose, but I wasn't wearing my glasses. I was outside, I didn't need them, and I had adjusted the diopter so I could easily look through and have no problems. So I reached around and the dial to tighten the battery grip, guess what? It was loose. So I tightened it up, and you know what? I didn't have a single problem the entire outing, and I got some really great footage, as you can see here. I've never had the opportunity to shoot the fog. Certainly never the opportunity to shoot the fog in a winter setting. As we get ready to enter into 2025, I thought you might find my experience to be rather humorous. A calm head and a little bit of troubleshooting saved me some embarrassment, at least with Canon support. I can only imagine sending it in for repair and finding out that there was nothing wrong with the camera. Yeah, the battery grip wasn't fully tightened. Has that ever happened to you? Have you ever had a situation where you've been out shooting and you found out something wasn't working properly and it's simply you hadn't plugged it in? Reminds me of, I used to work on a call desk, and there was always all sorts of crazy stories. And there's this one that you'll see floating around the internet that a person was calling in to complain that their Dell or compact computer wasn't working properly. Well, the support agent went through a bunch of troubleshooting steps and asking the person to try different things. And the person said, I'm not seeing any response. I'm still getting a black screen. Nothing's happening. The agent was baffled, couldn't figure out why. And then all of a sudden, he asked another person, well, can you see what it says on the back of the computer, the serial number? And the person said, no, I can't, because the power's out. Yeah. They were wondering why their computer, not a laptop, but their desktop computer wouldn't work, despite there being a power outage. Yeah, stuff like that did happen. And this was one of those situations, but thankfully, I solved it myself. I was so excited to get outside and shoot in the fog because I'd never been able to shoot it in this type of setting. And the results, when I got back and looked into the computer, were amazing. And I want to tell you a little bit about the R5 Mark II. With the waveforms in Canon Log 2, when I was shooting, again, I was trying to get the, the highlights almost all the way up to 100 IRE, but not quite. And you don't want to get it right up because what you're seeing through that tiny, well, through the EVF is a very small waveform. So you might think you're just touching 100 IRE and some parts could be pushing through. So I get it. So we're just touching. And of course, when I preview, it really does look like everything is washed out. But having trusted Canon Log 2 in the past, I take it back. And what I see is, wow, where I do have people in the frame, skin tones look perfect. And where I don't, colors look great. The contrast looks great. And the scene looks terrific. But talking about battery grips, B&H is tossing in a free battery grip with a purchase of the R5. That's right, the Mark I at $27.99. Now, Adorama, not to be outdone, is tossing in a few extras of their own for the same price of $27.99. And if you are interested in purchasing the Canon EOS R5 for that price, $27.99 and a free battery grip, that's worth about $350. That really puts the price of the camera down to around, what, $24.50, $23.50? What an incredible deal. And I know Christmas is over. New Year's is just in a couple of days. But we're still seeing some really incredible deals for Nikon cameras, Canon cameras, Sony cameras, and accessories and lenses also on sale. And if you're interested in purchasing anything I've talked about in this video, I have the affiliate links in the description down below for Adorama and B&H as well as Amazon.com. And I'd really appreciate if you do use those links because, to be quite honest with you, literally is what helped keeps this channel going. It's what keeps the lights going, and it's very much appreciated. And as I look away, I realize that this key light here is completely pointing this way. But as I look in the monitor there, it doesn't look like the exposure is completely off. That kind of gives me an idea. Maybe I'm going to move it more to this side here, so maybe this side isn't lit nearly as strongly. Just see, things come to me at times. But anyhow, a big thanks to you in 2024 supporting this channel, whether you use my affiliate links down below or not, my pre-order links, whether you just watched my videos, whether you commented, whether you thumbs up or thumbs down. It's very much appreciated. I'm in my 6th year of doing this channel, 6 years if you can believe it, and I'm on the verge of 60,000 subscribers. It's a long way away from the goal of 100,000 subscribers I set several years ago, but as I've gotten older, well, sure, I'd like that plaque and I'd like to see 100,000 subscribers. It's really not what's important. What's important is attracting viewers like you, and you know, I attract anywhere from 150 to 500,000 views a month, and I think that is a pretty, well, I'm not trying to, how should I say this? I think that's a good thing. I think that's a big deal. And I don't think having a lot of subscribers by itself is the most important thing. I think for me, my goals have still continued to be to produce better content, to be able to edit better, to be able to put in better B-roll, to be able to better tell a story so that you are still watching here to the very end. And for that, my thank you. Thank you for watching to the very end. Have yourself a very good day, a good week, and all the best to you and all the best. I am having trouble speaking now. All the best to you, a prosperous and happy new year as we embark on 2025. Thanks so much for tuning in. Bye now. We'll see you again soon.